Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Stock, and let me tell you, the stock market was up today. My portfolio was up like 7%. It was crazy. I haven't had a day like that since I think maybe even back in November. So I'm really excited about it. I have a lot of things to say about it. We had the upward pressure of Biden being certified by Congress as the next president, the relief of just having an answer to the whole election question. It lifts the markets right along with it. Today we're going to take a look at the indices, a brief look at Bitcoin, the renewable energy sector, a little bit more on Plug Power, Tesla being the champion that it is, and also an update on NIO for their last trading day before NIO Day on January the 9th. We have a lot to talk about. Let's get ready to rock. Before we get started, find Webull down in the description. It's a trading platform. I use it in my videos. For signing up, you get 2 free stocks. You deposit $100, you get 2 more free stocks. Your minimum is $21, all the way up to a chance of $3,700. You only have until January 15th to do it. Again, that link is down in the description. Also, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, share this out with your friends. Let's get into the stock information. First, the Dow Jones up 211 points, 0.69%. What a climb that it's made all the way back from March in 2020 until now, over what it was prior to February last year. The S&P up 55 points, 1.48%, also up above where it was at in February last year. The NASDAQ also green, 2.56%, and we see a lot of the same shape across these 3 indices. The Russell drooped down just a little bit right in here, but otherwise still very similar to the other ones. The VIX, this one is the one that we want to be red for those of us who don't care for volatility, down 10.77%. When we look at that for the day, it dropped off as the day went on. Let's look at it for the year for a little bit more meaningful impact. Looking across the year, we had a fairly low VIX, 13 or so. You can tell when the pandemic really hit back in March again. And then over here, it looks like we sort of settled. It is dropping if you pay attention to these lows down back here about June 8th, and then another low here at about August 17th is lower yet. And then it looks like we're near one of the lower points over here, not quite as low, but we are hitting lower and lower. The volatility is decreasing. If we look at the 5-year, we're not back where we were typically in previous years, even though there were some higher times. We're about 10 points off of where it was. Bitcoin, man, is this all over the place. I saw a report that it has hit over $40,000. It doesn't look like it's being reflected in that price on Google Finance right now. If you take a look in Webull and if you search on the internet, Bitcoin it was said to have hit $40,000 for the first time. Cathie Wood from ARK Invest, huge proponent for Bitcoin, thinks it could be a huge opportunity for investment. Bitcoin specifically holds a store of value, much like gold and silver, but with advantages over gold and silver. You should look her up, search Cathie Wood Bitcoin, read what she and ARK Invest have to say. I think that you really like what it says about Bitcoin and about the prices that they believe that Bitcoin could go to. We're going to talk about clean energies, and clean energies was up really, really big today. Here's one of the main reasons why. Having Biden certified by Congress as the next president brings on his US $2 trillion climate plan, or having more confirmation that it was going to happen is good news going forward for those clean energy companies. I highlighted some of the details. Transition to a carbon-free power sector, more sustainable economy, $2 trillion investment over 4 years. That would be such a huge boost going out to those companies. And also the jobs that it brings in would be excellent for the people who live here in the United States. So there they talk about the biggest job creation that they have, biggest opportunity, investments in infrastructure, housing, auto industry, environmental justice. I recommend, if you haven't read about environmental justice, that you take a moment to do it. It's really cool. It actually encompasses a whole lot more than I would have thought it did. This is big for pushing people into the sales and businesses moving forward. Their clean energy, having these the reformations and the extending the tax incentives for the efficiency. For the energy efficiency and getting more clean energy jobs. Finally, down here, the procurements on battery technology, electric vehicles, and on the grid, and complemented technologies like solar and wind, and moved to increase durability, reduce waste, and lower cost. I think of Tesla when I read this. I know that Tesla sells cars, they're known for that, but they're a technology company, and battery technology is one of the big things that they're in EVs. They're in EVs, and they talk about the solar panels that they have. So there's solar being mentioned. Also down here, it talks about new battery storage and transmission infrastructure that they have to address bottlenecks. Again, Tesla is part of all of that. Their power walls for that they have for battery storage. It's there for solar. They have solar roofs made. The shingles themselves are integrated solar panels. It's really cool stuff. If you haven't been to the Tesla site, we'll take a quick look at it. So here on the Tesla website, and they mention the different vehicle models that they have for the electric vehicles, the solar roofs that they have. The picture that you see on here are the solar panels themselves. The solar roof, these shingles are where the solar power comes from. These are the solar collectors that you have on top. So the fact that Tesla went up over $800 today, and we'll take a look at their chart in a moment, it's not a surprise. Before we get there, I want to give a quick mention to Plug Power and what's written about them. I mentioned in the video that I made before this one that Plug Power entered into a $1.5 billion partnership with South Korea to help them build their hydrogen infrastructure that they have. And the part that I like about Plug is this sentence right here. Its chemical operations will let Plug Power scale both fuel cell and hydrogen production on a global scale. Here we're looking at the daily chart for Plug Power. You can see after that news came out about South Korea and the $1.5 billion partnership, that huge gap up that we have, that huge volume spike that accompanied it. We have all this area in between, and we want to pay attention to this area because we don't know if this is overbought or not. We don't know how much of that was hype. I do believe that they're a solid company. I think if they really do globalize, they can really grow their business and really be worth a lot of money. So it's just so far away from the trend, and they're so far to fall. I'm just careful about this, and I would look for an entry point, or maybe to buy a few more. I would wait maybe for it to pull back a little bit. Again, this is my opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only, but this is a really steep jump, really fast. And even beyond that, when the news came out today, it still jumped further, even further during the regular trading hours than even when in the after hours market when the news came out. All right, so here we are with Tesla. They made it almost up to $817 per share today, and that's awesome because I remember seeing it hit over 700, and I was like, wow, I can't believe Tesla went up over 700. And then I looked at Tesla's stock price today, and I watched it go up over $800 per share, and I was like, wow, I can't believe it's up over 800. And the more I thought about it, I was like, didn't Cathie Wood say that Tesla's stock price would go up to $4,000 a share? And she did. She made that call, and I believe that call was back in 2019, and people thought that she was insane, and that it was a really bold call. But we got there, and we got there, in my opinion, really quickly with the $2 trillion and how much involvement Tesla has with clean energy and with electric vehicles and sustainable power and the battery technologies and the battery storage. Tesla stood to make a big move from this. And well, here's that big move. So about Cathie Wood's $4,000, it is here. It's a little bit disguised. There was a 5-to-1 stock split. So one share of Tesla worth $4,000. When you split it into 5 equal shares, that's $800 a piece, and we crossed that threshold today. So round of applause to Cathie Wood for calling that one. She's a brilliant lady. I only wish I had half her intelligence. All right, and finally, NIO Day. We don't know for NIO Day if it's going to be a case of sell the news or if people are going to buy into it. Sell the news is a phrase in trading stocks for a reason. Oftentimes when news comes out, there's a sell-off. So we can expect a sell-off tomorrow. It doesn't mean that it'll happen. I think that there's a lot of I think that there's a lot of energy that surrounds the NIO stock that makes it feel just a little different. Something important to pay attention to if we do end up going on the green side of this tomorrow is that we're already at 54.28 and we hit resistance here on this candle of $55.28. That's, I believe it's exactly $1 up to our resistance point from today's close. If we break 55.28, the next one we hit is almost $2 more up from that, up to 57.20. So that's almost a 5% increase up from where we closed today up to this line of resistance. If we break that tomorrow, then there's no telling how high it'll go. It all depends on how bullish people are and how strongly they go into this, believing that NIO Day will be everything it's been hyped up to be. Now let's go to the sell the news side of this. If people decide to sell the news, we drop all the way down to this support level at the bottom of this candle, which is $49. So about a 10% drop. And a 10% drop, if we saw it, I wouldn't be too surprised that we would see it. I'd be really surprised if we fell below that support level. I think that the bulls and the excitement that's here, I think will keep us north of that support level there. This support level down here is all the way at $42-ish, so $12 off. So that'd be like 20 to 25% drop from there. And then beyond that, it would be crash level. We would have to really, really, really not believe that any sort of good news would be coming. We'd have to have a massive sell-off to drop that far. So if we're selling the news, 10% maybe, but I don't see, I'd say probably more like 5 to 10% would be the range that we're looking for if they're going to sell the news. Monday, however, wherever we start, I think that we're going to start seeing that climb and that we're going to start on more of a march up to the earnings date that we get. And if we beat expectations, then I think as long as we still have that same excitement for NIO that we have right now, I think that we could see that next bump up, that next elevation, marching on towards that estimate of 100 that's been thrown around a couple different places. I really like the case that MarketWatch makes for NIO hitting $100 during 2021. I honed in on this part because this is where they get to the why of the $100 for 2021. I've been in this stock for a while. I've had it since it was below $30. I sold it when it was up in the mid to high 50s. Back when it hit $57 per share, I bought back in around $42, I believe. If this stock hits $60 per share, I'm already up about 50%. If it goes up to $80 per share, I'm almost at that $85 share, we'll call it. I'm up closer to doubling my money. And if we make it to that $100 mark, and I really see with the way the EV market's going and the way that NIO is going, I find that $100 price target believable. One final thing about NIO, I do have to make a correction from my previous video. In my previous video, I reported that the drop in the NIO's price and also XPeng and Lee's price were due to the Tencent BABA news about the ban on trading. That was incorrect. This is actually when the Capitol building in DC had all that trouble, and that was the reason for the sell-off that we saw here, and then it corrected nicely after that. So I apologize. Thank you to those of you in the comments who corrected me for that. I do my very best to give you information that's as accurate as possible. So the market was green today. There were a lot of really big gains for people in a lot of different stocks. Watch out for some people cashing in. You might see just a little bit of a sell-off going into the weekend. It is Friday. Watch out for NIO Day and selling the news. If you're worried about it, you can have your stops set. If you're more of a long-term investor in this, I'm an investor in this. I plan on just holding on to this. We'll see how it plays out throughout 2021. I think it'll even have good news going through 2022, but I'll watch it quarter by quarter at the very least, just to see how it's performing. And I think that we're going to have results that we like. That's what I have for you today. I hope that you found it informative. Use the Webull referral link down in the description. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, share it with your friends. Remember that this is for entertainment purposes only. Do your due diligence. Contact your financial advisor before making any financial decisions. I'm Dr. Stock. Thanks for rocking with me. Now go get that money.